All right, we will be installing an all balls U-joint onto a Polaris 570 drive shaft, the front drive shaft. Now this is the front yoke set, so this will actually slide onto the differential shaft going into the front differential. So the first thing we're going to do is we've got our clips, we've got our grease certs there, and we've got the caps here. We're going to pull these caps off because we're going to need those off to install them. Now we're going to make sure that this grease cert is towards the back. So we're going towards the actual drive shaft of the machine. So we're going to push that through like that so it's poking out there. Then we're going to put that cap on there. And we're just going to do that to keep all those bearings lined up as we press this in. Now what I like to do is still putting pressure on that. I'm going to take and I'm going to tap this in just a little bit. And you don't want to go too far because you got to take that cap, push it on the other side. If you go too far and it's not perfectly lined up, you'll have a hard time getting this other cap on. Now I kind of pull that joint out just a little bit here, slide that on, make sure those two go back and forth. Now before going too far, I kind of put it right in the middle there, push as far as I can on with that. I'm going to take this vise, and you can do it with a hammer too. Sometimes everything just slides in a little bit better if you do it with a vise. And slide these together. I'm going to do it in a way that hopefully you guys can see. And once we get that open far enough, we will start closing it. You want to make sure the whole time while you're closing it that you are sliding that shaft back and forth so that those bearings are seating properly. They're not pinching in there. You want to make sure this is moving a little bit. Make sure it's moving freely. Now all we need to do is get these in far enough to get these half moon clips in. So as soon as you get them to where you can see those grooves, then you can slow down and kind of see how far you're needing to go in. Again, making sure the whole time that this is moving freely. And once you get it so far, your yoke won't let you go anymore. You can take it out. And we will just still making sure these can move freely, take and tap on the actual cap. Once you can see that groove is wide enough to get this clip in, I like to make sure, take one side of it, put it in there, make sure it slides into the groove. If it does, then you can just set that there and take and tap that clip in. And then if it needs seated more, just take two screwdriver, tap it in. And flip it, do the same thing on this side. Make sure it's far enough for that clip. Put that clip in. And then tap on it. And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. Set it here like this. Take it. And if it's a little bit tight, we can, as long as you don't want it so tight that you can't even move it, but if it's a little bit tight, I can show you a little trick to loosen it up and reset and everything. Alright, we've got the new joint in there. This cap now, slide it all the way in like that. Push as far in as we can go. Get a little tap, and this is just to kind of keep it from popping back out. Grab the other cap. And I like to make sure that slides into it, so I'll pull this out just a hair. Now loosen this up. And we'll do the same thing again, just go ahead and close it. And at the end here, I'll show you how to loosen that joint if we've gotten it too tight on either side. Most of the time you'll get it too tight, trying to get those grooves in there. A lot of times we'll go a little bit too far, which is a pretty common deal. So making sure it's moving back and forth freely. When it's as far in as we can get it with that, we'll take and tap on it again. As soon as we can get that clip in there, we'll do that. This side's pretty free. Up and down's a little bit tight. So as soon as we get this clip in here, I'll show you what to do. You don't want to do it until you get the clips in there. Otherwise, a lot of times your boots will fall out of place, or your caps will fall out of place. You'll have to kind of restart that. All right, now what we're gonna do is you can have it setting down there like this. If it's too tight this way, that means the up and down joint, or the up and down part of the U-joint is too tight. So you take and tap down on this. And then you can tap down on this side. Flip it over, do the same things. Flip it over 180. And that loosens it right up. Now make sure it's free both ways. Now what you want to do is put that grease zerd in there. And we've got one that's at a bit of an angle, not a 90 degree, it's more of a 45. Take it in there. We've got a 9mm wrench that we can snug up. You just want to make sure it stops on a corner. And that is replacing the U-joint on a Sportsman 570.